Are you planning to buy or build a new home in a 55 and over community? If so, then there's a life lesson that I'd like to share with you that might be years away in your future. But the sooner you are aware of this scenario, the easier it will be for you to prepare for it, adapt to it, and deal with it if it happens. My name is Chris. I'm not an attorney, so I can't provide legal advice. I'm also not a home builder or a real estate agent, so I can't provide professional real estate advice either. I'm not selling anything. I'm just a layperson who has lived in 3 different homeowner associations, HOAs, and in 2 of those, during the time that the builder-developer controlled the community, and then the transition to owner-resident control of the HOA board and the community. And it's that scenario that I'd like to share with you. During the early stages of such a community, it's almost certain that the home builder, developer, will control the HOA board and the community. Living in such a community during that time when the builder has that control provides opportunity to interact with the home builder on community-based issues in a similar way that a homeowner might interact with that home builder for warranty issues on their home. Not the same, but similar. What I mean is that home builder would have the opportunity to respond in both situations from a customer service perspective. Imagine that you're at a nice restaurant and something isn't to your satisfaction. The quality of the food or the service doesn't measure up to your expectations. Would you bring that to the attention of the person serving you? I think that most people would. Here in the United States, we customers learn to let a business know when we're not satisfied. Right? Okay, then what if the waiter or waitress was either unwilling or unable to address the situation to your satisfaction? Would you ask or demand to speak with their manager, a supervisor, the owner? Again, I think most people would. Likewise, you might expect your relationship with your home builder to be similar. That if something is not to your satisfaction, either with your house or the community, then bringing that to the attention of the home builder would likely result in a customer service-oriented response. But what happens after that builder has departed from that community? Would there be anyone left to respond from a customer service perspective? Based on my experience, I think the answer would likely be no. I've seen this scenario play out not just where I live now, but in a prior community where I lived after the home builders transferred ownership of those communities to resident owners. As a result, some homeowners in both communities were left looking around wondering, where did all the customer service go? I think that it's important to consider whether an HOA has customers. State law will certainly differ from state to state, but from my layperson perspective, an HOA is a form of voluntary private governance. When I buy or build a home in an HOA, my understanding is that I take on the responsibility of being a co-equal owner of that organization. I don't consider myself to be a customer of my current HOA, nor did I in either of the 2 HOAs where I lived previously. I think that's especially important to consider if you're moving to a 55 and over community and buying or building a new home. That can easily seem like you're moving to a resort where you might expect to receive consistent customer service. But once a builder transfers control of that community, you would probably be interacting with members of your HOA board as peer owners, not as their customer. Now, if that HOA has staff or contracts with a third-party management company, then those people would likely be direct or indirect employees of the HOA, and they would be responsible for ensuring that the organization served all owners equally. If one or a few of those owners were dissatisfied with something in the community, then receiving a customer service response similar to that from a waiter or waitress in a restaurant probably wouldn't happen. And asking or demanding to speak with their manager, supervisor, or the owner would probably lead you back to your peer owners who were elected to serve on the HOA board. It can be very frustrating to respond to a given situation as a customer only to be reminded that you're not one. Again, that's just my opinion, and if you think I'm wrong, then please feel free to drop a comment below and let me know. You see, all interaction is good for a new channel here on YouTube. So thank you in advance for your comment, even if it's negative. I'd be grateful. Thank you. But whether you agree or disagree with me, if you find yourself in a dispute with an HOA, then please consult with an attorney. Even better, with an attorney who is licensed to practice law in the same state as where that HOA exists, because states are different and how each state regulates HOAs can also differ. In my opinion, if you decide to live in an HOA, especially if you're considering a 55 and over community that might look and feel like a resort, then it's important to understand the difference between builder control and subsequent owner-resident control of that community. To relate this back to my restaurant scenario, if you took a picnic dinner to a public park and found a picnic table among many others, and then found that the meal that you brought with you wasn't to your satisfaction, then would you turn to the people at neighboring tables to complain about your meal? Probably not, because you wouldn't be their customer, right? When you live in an HOA after the builder leaves that community, then in my opinion, your role in that community would be similar to being at that public park, not a restaurant. I believe that working with your elected board as a peer co-owner would likely be more productive than expecting someone in that HOA to respond to you from a customer service perspective. Residents who are elected to your HOA board certainly have a responsibility to manage the budget and hopefully to lead that community with transparency and accountability to all owners. But I would encourage you to avoid considering yourself to be their customer. Learning to succeed, to live happily in an HOA, especially after a builder departs that community, learning to be an owner, well, that takes practice. And for me, it started with reminding myself that I was an owner, not a customer. I hope that my perspective is of help, that you achieve great success in finding the right 55 and over community for you, and that you enjoy living there as much as my wife and I enjoy living in ours. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And thanks for watching. It helps to know.